Yeah, like I said, we have a plan for him, and this was the next step, as I talked about prior to the game, the steps we put him through, and then give him an opportunity for obviously a real good structured practice, and give him some opportunities to see what he looks like in those situations. So I think it was a good day.
What was your reaction to that? How did he look? And
he looked good. I was just talking with him about feeling more comfortable. Like I said the other day, I think that Jack Capuano spent some time with him prior to the game, just going through our video stuff. And I had the opportunity to talk to David Carl yesterday about him a little bit more, and had a good conversation with Zeeb. And I just think he's a really good player, but let's try to do the right things to give him the best chance. And today I thought he did a good job. And talking to him after practice, he obviously felt more comfortable, but said it was a little bit different too. The passes, the speed of the practice, the details guys play with are good. So good day for him.
Does that indicate your plan for him, John, for game one, or what would have to change for him to not get that opportunity?
I would just take it day by day with him right now. I think that the as I said, I don't want to get too far ahead with it, particularly now that we have 2 days out. Now you asked me that question Saturday, I'll have the answer for you for sure. But today it was like, okay, let's see some things, what it looks like, and just keep moving forward. With our team, we're healthy, and I think, as I said, it was a good day for Zeeb to put him in some situations that we think he can help us in, and just continue to try to make him feel comfortable and understand what's going on.
Vegas, their penalty kill hasn't been great this year, but they also are aggressive on the penalty kill. I mean, would it be tough to play 5 forwards against them on that penalty kill? Would it be a liability to potentially shorthanded, or does that have something that you're thinking in terms of maybe putting in a defenseman in that spot like Zeeb?
Not necessarily the 5 forwards, because to be honest, I think versus pressure, whether it's a D-man or a forward up there, your flanks have to be responsible. Where you could get in trouble is if there's a scrum on one side of the ice and that weak side flank is low and not where he needs to be. That's where some of those odd man rushes come up. But looking at Zeeb in that situation, he's a top end power play defenseman. So today was just looking at that, him up there, and seeing what that group possibly could look like.
With Kirill and Eck, it sucks that you guys missed them each for about half a season. When you look at this series, John, and know that it likely could go 6 or 7, it's going to be a war. How much does it help to know that half a season of freshness is on both their legs?
I think it could always be positive, for those guys. I think that, playoffs, is the second season. I think you feel renewed life too as well. So I think for Kirill and Eki, that time off, yes, sometimes I think that could be a benefit. Just not as many miles on the body throughout the year. But in saying that, they're also coming off of injuries and recovering from those things. I'd probably say, excited to have those guys healthy and playing the way that they're playing. But I think that our team in general, once you get through that regular season, now you come back today, there's a renewed excitement, I think, for everybody.
No one might have more on their plate than Eriksson Ek in a playoff series, just with all the different roles that he has, but that's like right up his alley. That suits him.
I mean, he has a lot of responsibilities, obviously, in a big role. But that's that's who he is, and he's shown that he thrives in those environments and thrives in those roles.
The matchup role, is he kind of maybe uniquely suited to that, in that he doesn't just kind of go in to defend and shut someone else down? Like, it's more like, you got to shut me down. You know what I mean? Like, the way that he can play offense, he's just not going in defensively. They have to be leery of him just as much. Yes,
that's what makes Eki a hard player to play against. Now, it's not just all him, but it would have to be his line mates having that same mentality. But yes, I think when you're a player that plays against top players, when you're on offense, you don't want to be defending, right? But he had his style of game and the way that he plays, with Bolds. And I think Kirill, when they are on offense or in the offensive zone, I think all three of them have the ability to make another team have to defend and check. But all three are also responsible when they're called upon to defend, rush defense coming into our own end. I think those guys can handle that.
Has that blurred over time, like the traditional old school matchup role, and you're just going to follow this guy around the ice to shut him down, because everyone's skill sets are so varied now that it just seems like it's just not these decisive roles that just shut this guy down?
Yeah, I think it probably depends on the team and the situation. I would say you're correct more often than not right now. But I do think you could get into some situations where there is a line, you know, that you either designate or the other team designates to basically check the other team. It doesn't mean that you just defend, but your responsibility is to make sure that you make the game hard for these guys, and you're not giving them easy offense. Your pucks are in, you're forechecking them, you're making them defend, and then when they are in the offensive zone, you have heightened awareness. So I do see that, but it's not so much following guys around. I think there are assignments versus certain lines.
What's the challenge of getting inside against a team like Vegas with the way they're sized on the blue line, and like how important I think you think that'll be in the series of creating offense?
Yeah, it'll be big. I mean, it's you know, to be able to get to the inside is where you have to score this time of year, unless there's a major breakdown. But we got to skate. Like, we got to play fast in the offensive zone. I think it starts with a shot mentality. What we worked on today, you got to have strong puck retrievals. You know, if we're going to stay on the perimeter and pass the puck around, you have to play direct. You have to deliver pucks to the net. You got to have shots, shot attempts, rebounds, check it off of sprays. Now they have to get out of some structure, and then you have to attack quick.
Is that the biggest threat Vegas poses? Is that size on the blue line, or to you, what's the biggest thing you guys are gonna have to counter?
I just think that they're a good, strong, well-balanced team. You know, I think when you look at their lineup and the way that they play, I think they play a strong team game. You know, they have big defensemen that I think play a pretty responsible game, and I think their forwards are, you know, strong and heavy. So I think that really what defines their team. They have special players for sure, but I think that collectively as a team, they play the game that, you know, most nights is required to win.
What do you see from like Marco right now, you know, to be able to function and continue to, or get back to being an impact in the playoffs?
Well, that's the really it's the things that we talk about. You know, his speed has to be a factor, because that's one of his best assets. I think his competitive nature on the puck, to get over pucks, win puck battles offensively, be an elusive player, second and third effort on pucks, to allow him and his line to be able to play in the offensive zone. And then there's got to be a willingness, you know, to get into the net front. That's what this time of year requires from everyone, and that's where, you know, I think for Marco, with that mindset and using his assets, but being determined in those areas I just mentioned.
Did you feel like it sort of waned in the last couple of weeks? You know, like in Vancouver, he didn't play a lot of even strength in the third period when the going was getting tough. I mean, it just feels like his ability to break down defensemen the last month has not been like it was earlier in the season.
Yeah, I don't know if it's waned. I just think at certain times guys don't have it at the level that you need them to, and I think now having a reset and going into this playoff series, and everyone's, I think, rejuvenated, and now you're playing one team. You know what the game is going to be called upon. You're not playing one of 82. There's a certain things that they do that you're going to have to be committed to doing, and that's what we're going to need from him.
It was a quirk of the schedule, but the 3 regular season games you played against Vegas, all 3 were on the second night of back-to-backs. Just now to have 3-4 days essentially to prepare for a team, just how much of a luxury is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to, you know, no matter what, you know it's going to be a challenging series, you know, for the playoffs. And for us, it's, I think with our mindset for our team, it's, I think just little pieces. Here's, you know, today was one component of our game, you know, showed some video on that, and just making sure that I think we understand how the style of game we need to play. But to me, it's as we move forward, it's the mentality. It's going to be the commitment to dig in and you know, play the games where there's no time and space. You have to fight for ice. You got to take away their ice, and understand that, you know, it's not going to be a beauty contest. It's going to be a hard-fought game. And to me, the tactics are the tactics, but we got to make sure that mentally we're ready to play and give that style of game.
Favors minutes lately, and just his impact, John, is this, do you think, a preview of what's to come for him, or do you kind of think that'll temper a bit, just how much you've been using him and how you suited him? But, like, do you think this is just the beginning for him, or might temper it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will depend. You know, when you come into these things, you play every game to win, and you got to try to do what's required to win. You know, just no different than, I think, you know, the players on the ice when they're playing the game, they got to play the game that's required to win, and it's about that game and nothing else. And I think same thing from a coaching perspective, is you're coaching to win that game. So whatever it takes to win that game, those are the decisions you got to make.
Is this the best we've seen of Johansson, at least production-wise, and just the way he's been playing lately?
Yeah, I think Joe's really. It's good to see him playing the way that he is playing. Obviously, the production is good, but I think he's been very consistent to get that production. Skating's been a factor. I've really liked his competitiveness. He's able to log ice time. He's playing a lot of different situations for us. But Joe's a really smart player. He's got good skill. But I think when he's playing a speed game and his competitive nature is high, I think those are the two triggers that allow him to be able to produce, get chances, and be a hard player to play against.
John, you talk about getting into playoff mentality and just the way the pressure's ramped up. Your team's been fighting for points for the last couple weeks. Is it almost like you've been in a playoff mood already?
Yeah, for sure. It's that's really what we were going through, right? Like you're going to go through situations in a playoff series, right? Game one, people are going to be nervous. You got to go in and play, right? And then all of a sudden, everything changed, dynamics change, right? And eventually, there's going to be a differentiating game in the series. Is it where you can get to that third game, and then there's a closeout game, but then there's the mentality you deal with, right? The night before the game, playing through it, and we've had multiple opportunities to test ourselves, and some of them we've come through, and some of we haven't. So I think at least for us going into this series, we've had to fight to get there, and it's going to be no different in this series.
I know you don't carry momentum game to game or game into a new first-round series, but the way you guys won the last couple games, the rallying, it seemed like the vibes around the group, or like the energy is pretty high right now. Can that help going into a playoff series, like kind of seeing kind of what happened the last two and kind of how that kind of took you where you are? You did back into the playoffs and playing anything like that.
Yeah, I think having your back against the wall and understanding how you need to play and playing that way and finding ways to win certainly helps. I do think I wouldn't necessarily say it would be momentum, but I do think it's a confidence. It's a confidence that you handle these situations, you understand the pressure, the when to get in, not doing it against Calgary. And as we came down the stretch there, come down 2-0 to Vancouver, down again, against Anaheim, but probably in two games where we could have been rewarded more than we were, but we found ourselves at the short end of the stick. But the determination, I think the mindset, the style of game we played, that's going to be important. That's how you have to play to win.
Thanks, John.
All right, thank you.
Time of the year. Oh, it's nice. It's always nice to play games like this, and it's the best time of the year for sure.
How much will you guys embrace being a pretty heavy underdog?
Yeah, it's nice. We believe in ourselves in here, but we also know that we're playing one of the best teams in the league the last couple of years or 5 years. So it's going to be a tough challenge that needs everyone to play their A game if we're going to have a chance to come out of the series.
Is there a sense that maybe some people are sleeping on you? Like when you guys were fully healthy early in the year, we saw what you guys are capable of.
I don't really care about that, it's up to us in here and focus on us, and we got a really good team to play in Vegas, and trying to find a way to beat them 4 games, and that's the only thing that we worry about. I don't really read or know what people are saying, so yeah.
When you look at Vegas in particular with this series, what do you feel like is going to be the most challenging aspect of what needs to happen in order for you guys to advance?
Well, we're going to win 4 games, and that's easier said than done. I think we're 0-3 against them this year, and so we got to find a different gear here, and then we need everyone to play up to the standards and maybe more to be able to beat a team like that. So, but I think we all believe in the group that we can do it, but we need everyone.
Does it matter at all? The fact that you went 0-3 against them in the regular season, does that matter at all now?
No, I mean, just goes to show that they're a good team and that we need to be ready to go, and we got a big challenge ahead of us. But we think positive of ourselves in this room, and we obviously believe that we can do it. So yeah, that's what we got to worry about.
The way you guys got in, you come from behind victories, and Saturday and obviously last game, like give you some confidence going in, like knowing you guys will be able to kind of dig deep and find it.
I mean, I honestly don't know. That's hard to answer, but we've done it the hard way the whole year, and 20 seconds left of the season and you do it the hard way. So that was kind of like been our season this year. So hopefully we can do it the hard way this series and get a win.
In your experience, going deep in the playoffs before, does dealing with the diversity during the season help a team? Does dealing with it and kind of overcoming it? You guys have been through obviously a lot of injuries and stuff like that. Does that kind of add to something?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there's everything can happen. It's just speculations at that point. You know what? I understand that it's nice for you to write about something like that, but I honestly I don't think it matters. I think it matters those 7 games that we hopefully going to play against Vegas or whatever, how many it is, that we got to beat a really good team, and that we embrace that challenge, and we all lift to a different level, and as a team can be able to come out with a win in the series.
How does William look out there? Like, what is it kind of wrinkle does he bring?
I mean, this is the first time I've seen him, so I couldn't really give you. But he looks good. I mean, he's in the NHL. Everyone that plays in the NHL are good players. So I mean, obviously, you heard a lot of good things about him. So excited to see what he can bring. But I mean, got to give the kid a little rest too. It's coming into a tough series, a tough Stanley Cup Playoffs is tough. So, but we expect him to play hard and excited to have him here. But yeah, let him settle on a little bit before you guys jump all over. Let him have his time to come in and feel comfortable. So.
What stood out about Gus, especially down the stretch? He played a lot of games, and obviously he wants to be a number 1 guy. He's played like one. What stood out watching him play and play in front of him?
Nothing new. I mean, he's calm, collected. He's played really well for us as a team, and I think that's what we expect from him and Flower, whoever is in that. We got trust in both of them, and there's nothing new I've seen this year. He's played well since he came in here, and yeah, we played as good as a team, and him and Flower helped us win a lot of games. So that's obviously nice to have coming into the playoffs.
Do you feel like you've gotten back into your game, or?
I don't know. We'll see in playoff. I don't say something good or bad. Once I just try now enjoy the game, and I hope wins just game to game. Play with a good team structure and stuff like this, and just don't try to think about this now or should be I'm good or bad. Just try to be myself, and that's it.
What do you think of the matchup? How tough a team are they?
It's a good team. It's one of the best team last couple of years, and you can see standings. It's this team play good every year, and I don't know. We'll see, and should be nice series. I feel like everyone, all NHL everyone have nice series. You can see other teams, Colorado, Dallas, or Winnipeg against St. Louis, Florida, Tampa, everyone.
What do you think of Ziv today on the number 1 unit?
I skated with him a couple of days ago too, before against Anaheim. Before Anaheim, I like him. I like him. Nice guy, and I talked with him a little bit. I like.
Is he
so good?
Is he as good an offensive defenseman as we hear?
I don't know how's defense, but offense. I'm just kidding. I don't saw him defense. I just saw his highlights offense, and on the practice we usually do some stuff, power play and 1-on-0 or something like that, or 2-on-1. And I don't saw this one, but I think he's good. He's a nice skater, and he's so smart, I think, and he's good skill guy. I just want to say good.
Could you imagine being 19 years old and making your NHL debut in the playoffs? I mean,
it's. I think it's not easy for sure for him, but he's how he play, and he play a lot of games in World Juniors and college. I understand it's it's juniors league and stuff like that, but it's everyone need to have this step up, and I think it's so nice for him. He have nice year this year, and now he's boom in NHL, games. We have Fapes a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He came same time, but he played couple games
Yeah.
before playoff, I think. But yeah, it's crazy. I never think if I go at 19 years old myself in the NHL.
Yeah.
I play in UFA in KHL. Yeah.
That's funny.
If you could describe this team in one word, or I'll let you use 2 words, what would you choose?
What do you mean?
Like, so John Hynes said the team is mentally tough. What would you
Mentally
say?
tough?
Yes. How would you describe
What is
the
it,
team?
mentally tough?
Like you're not gonna give up.
It's good things.
It's a good thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think you
Tell me
say
a good
mental
thing.
tough, like
No.
no good mentally.
No.
No,
No, good things.
no. Just one word?
If you can, I'll give you 2. I gave Hynesy 2.
I don't know.
Character? That was a big word the other night.
No, character, yeah, for sure. Because especially last couple of games, yeah, the goal games in overtime was down 2-0 in one quarter, and Anaheim 20 seconds, and the third period scored this goal too. And character for sure, but you can go and playoff if you don't have character. You know, any teams. And what more? I don't know. Hard to play games, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard,
I like
hard.
that. Yeah, you nailed
Just,
it.
lastly, like, how hard has this year been for you? I mean, to miss half the games, I'm sure
Yeah,
that's not
it's-
something. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's brutal, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's not fun. It's so boring time. I never have like this. 40 games I don't play, like 3 months or something like that. It's you just come here, you know, and during sometimes and really when you team on the road and you just do your stuff every day. You don't skating, you go in the gym, you do like same things all the time, and it's so boring. But it's neat to do, you know, sometimes, and you want to come back faster, but sometimes you can't do this because your body don't give it to you, and just boring time, yeah. But
How do you avoid the boredom? What did you do to make it less boring? Anything?
I just was here usually like from the morning to daytime, and then I usually go to nap after practice at home. Then I can walk or go on dinner somewhere, or maybe sometimes play a little bit computer, but not too much because it was boring too already. Usually after roads you come back home, you're like, okay, I play a little bit now. But when you always at home, you just don't want to play sometimes.
Yeah.
Watch hockey on TV, like other teams and our team, how the guys playing. That's it.
Does it bother you that you were the Hart Trophy favorite? And
No, I just it was just 35 games, and it's good for you guys. Guys can talk in the media and stuff like that, but I don't care about this. It's because it's just 40 games, 35 games. It's fun, yeah, but it's nice. I can hear from boys like in locker room or from Siki. He always can something like tell me or like. You guys texting me or something like that, but I usually try on watching this and all this stuff and just play my game, because sometimes you can focus on this and it's not helped to you in your game.
Yeah.
But maybe for me, I don't care now because I know how I need to be where I need to put my emotions. But some young guys like 20 years old, 22 years old, I think it's hard to read everything, you know, like you have good game and then he read, oh, I'm so good. Then you have bad game and he's like, oh, I'm not great tonight or stuff like this.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't read it.
You don't read us every day?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, you guys?
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
Thanks, Kirill.
Kirill.
What's fun is this time of year?
It's the best. I mean, this is what you play for. Go through the long schedule for to get to this point. It's an accomplishment, but now it's exciting. Nerves, all that stuff is here, and it's just excited to get to game one.
You can't control the schedule, obviously, but the 3 times you played Vegas, it all happened to be the second night of a back-to-back. Now that you have a couple days to prepare, does that make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I think you get a little bit of time to study your opponent a little bit more and you know, just do everything that we can to be ready. Obviously, we're a different team in general with the health and getting guys back, and you know, just the excitement of getting a 7-game series against these guys, right? So all focus is against one opponent and just trying to figure out their weaknesses and to exploit it as best as we can in this series.
There's obviously a different mentality that comes with the playoffs, all of that, but the fact that you've been fighting for every point, every game the last basically 2-3 weeks, you're maybe already in playoff mode and been playing that way?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to help us big time. I think just being in that mindset. I think the last, 2 playoffs we've gone into a little bit loose and a little bit, not saying that it's wrong, but just, when you rest guys, you get away from that mentality of that, the pressured games. And I feel like what we've been doing for the past month is going to help us and pay dividends.
Could you imagine if today you were
No.
on Calgary?
No, I could not imagine. That practice probably would have been a hell of a lot different. Would have probably had a couple skates at the end of it. So yeah, we're 20 seconds away from finding that out, but I guess we'll never know.
And then it was a perfect ending. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way it all happened. There's talk about
Yeah.
the flower and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I think that things happen for a reason, and that's definitely was a bright spot on this whole regular season we gone through.
Kirill only played 41 games, and he even joked that he's rested.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like to miss that type of time, and you played through what he was dealing with. But how much do you think right now that this actually is a benefit for you guys going into the playoffs, that he is fully sort of refreshed here and got everything?
Yeah, I think it is. I think obviously time is going to tell, but I just think that's with that type of player, being rested and being mentally rested too, I think is good for Kirill. I think he's excited to play and continue to play. This the stuff that he went through has been bothering him for a bit longer than people probably think, and I think it's just going to benefit us even more having a guy like that who's excited, eager, and hungry to contribute again, like he did in the start of the season, where he was a Hart candidate in my eyes, and still probably not 100%, which is pretty scary. So if we can get this guy 100% and excited to do some damage, then that's good for us.
Yeah, do you like? It's funny just asking about the Hart right now. He's just like, it was 35 games. Like to him it mean he thinks it's
those 35 games were my career though.
Yeah,
so I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is kind of funny. Like he's just saying that was all for you. I don't look at that. But do you feel bad that he never got that opportunity to see where this would finish? And then
yeah, I do. I feel like it reflected kind of our season, right? Like it was a good start, and you got to go without your best player for a long time, and but I mean, all of us want to see Kirill at the top and being talked about because he deserves it, and the type of person he is off the ice too. So yeah, it's frustrating when you see a guy having a career season and then it gets cut short. And but the best thing about it is that it happened earlier rather than later, and we get him back.
Yeah.
Marcus, obviously playoffs are different, but the way you guys won, when it looked like the games were lost, the Vancouver game, this last one here with Anaheim, and there was a feeling on the bench, we're not letting this happen. How much can you draw on that in the playoffs? Should you be down a goal in the third or something like that?
Yeah.
Does that, feed
Yeah.
the team and kind of give everybody, instead of just hollow words from the coach, oh, you guys got this.
Yeah.
You've seen yourselves do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the biggest thing, the experience that we get to take into the playoffs, right? The mindset, the mentality, the mental toughness that you need. We're going to be down in a series, we're going to be down in a game. It's just that's hockey, and it's the way you react to it. And I think that you saw our team in the past couple of weeks that we could have buried ourselves in a hole, and we got out of it. So that's a resilience we've shown all season, and that's something that any team that's going to reach the top of winning the Stanley Cup is going to be down in a series or be down in a game and have to battle back. I mean, it's been like that for numerous times of Stanley Cup winners, and that's the mindset we need going into the series.
What's the biggest challenge with Vegas in your mind when you're looking at them?
I think just a team that's obviously experienced. Has won a cup 2 years removed from it. Has got some lethal players. Has played a consistent game for most of the part of the season, and I think just the keeping the games close around them, maybe trying to give them some doubt going into third periods, things like that, where you can get to them and. But we just got to make sure that we're flawless and doing a lot of good things in our D zone where we're not giving easy offense, right? We don't want to give their guys free looks and due to our mistakes. So if we can play a really smart, confident game, then we'll give ourselves the best chance.
You mentioned being 19 years old and maybe making your your NHL debut
it's awesome.
in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm excited for him. If that's the way it is, then he's such a good kid. I've gotten to know him for the past 3 days, and yeah, I'm just excited that we all want this guy in the lineup, right? So we know it's big, but if there's one guy he can look to, it's Brock Faber about how to come in. I know Brock had a couple games in before playoffs, but playoffs are playoffs, and it doesn't matter. It's your first game to get thrown in there. I don't know. I think just the way Zeev holds himself, carries himself, I think he's going to be just fine going into Game 1 against Vegas, and he's got the support of us, his teammates, his new teammates now, and we want him to flourish. If he can be the offensive guy that they saw in college and can help us get some other looks and plays, and that's all. We got to just make sure that we're giving him a confidence boost there, that we want him to do those things and back him up.
What struck you the most about Gus, just watching him this year? I mean, difference maybe a couple of years ago was when we first got here.
Yeah, just confidence, just steadiness. I think that's the biggest thing with Gus. I think we want to see him. The amount of games he played this year is an encouraging sign. The conditioning, all that stuff. Like, he's just improved so much over the. And then, when we gone through a drought or a little bit of a tough trip or here and there, like he's bounced back with some good games. And then as of late, he's been our best player. So we're going to need him in the playoffs. You need good goaltending, but Gus is focused, and as long as he's trying to figure out animals that start with A to Z, we'll be fine.
How much did the gesture too with Fleury just show how much he fits here, like this group and this?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like he's just a fun.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think we all understood it, but it was Gus that initiated that whole thing, and like I said, I think I talked to you guys before, but I thought he hurt himself, so I was like, "Why are you coming off the ice?" It didn't click to me. We were all so in the moment, but then, just to see Flowers' face light up, and then to see Hynes, kind of like, it was just to see Gustafson, what he did there was an unbelievable moment, and it will be a big moment in history in this organization. So just goes to show you that the type of character and the type of goaltender we have back there.
What do you remember from that 21 series? It was bizarre. Like the beginning of the series,
yeah.
It was empty, like half-empty arenas, if I remember.
Yeah, I think we had the empty arenas and Vegas was full or something like that. Yeah.
And then Game 7, they definitely opened up.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Yeah, no, it was. I just remember that series was physical. Vegas we won Game 1, lost 3, and then climbed back with 2, and then lost in Game 7 where I think we had roads go down early or something like that in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. I remember our arena was probably 50% maybe,
yeah.
And you know what? I just thought it was similar. I mean, they had Flower, and now we got Flowers, so maybe that's the lucky charm that we got this time. But yeah, that was an intense series, and it was a lot of fun going to Game 7.
Wasn't Flowers' first prank that big picture that you guys had of X scoring against him, and then all of a sudden the puck was missing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He cut it out or something of the picture. Yeah.
So. Mark, how much are you guys embracing just being a heavy underdog?
Yeah, I think that's good too. I think it just takes a little bit of pressure off you, right? It's just we got nothing to lose. People probably don't count us to win this series, and Vegas is obviously a favorite, but. Yeah, it just gives us motivation, right? And you got to use that in the playoffs.
You're a different team now, though, right? Because it feels like relatively healthy for the most part. Now that you guys are getting back, everybody pretty much healthy for the most part. Does it feel like it's a different team?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, you just have balance throughout the lineup now, and you got Kirill and Eric Snack to take on a lot of load and hard work, and it just feels more like when you look around the room and you're missing key pieces, it wears on you. It's noticeable. I mean, everyone's going to say keep moving forward and next man up, but you take away, McDavid and Draisaitl and Edmonton, it's a different looking team. Any stars that don't play for their team, it's a different looking team. So we got them back now, and I think that's something that maybe we can use to our advantage of Vegas hasn't seen before, really, right? So yeah, we're looking forward to having those guys healthy and just having a team that's excited to be healthy.